Hey guys, Sean with RAVEK. Today, Brandon and I are going to show you how to install the signature lights for your HD11 with the Speakeasy Turn Signal Kit.
If you don't have a well-lit shop, this is where your light is going to come in handy. We're going to have to start by opening up your windshield. Open sesame. Got the windshield open. We'll now move in and open up the center area here of the machine. There's two clips back here that opens up, and this actually removes simply like that. We're going to set it aside for safekeeping. Now it's time to dig into the A-pillars. Removing this A-pillar here is going to allow us to remove the whole center area of this machine. It's going to allow you to do all your dash indicator lights, all of the wiring and that from the front to the rear. So this is probably one of the toughest areas to tear down, but you're going to see it's pretty simple. You have 3 push pin rivets here that hold these A-pillars in place. We'll pull those out now. From there. Get 2 in the front. There is 1 T25 at the top, which we'll be doing next. You will also need to remove the spring clip here on this. I'll do it while we're here. Utilizing a flat screwdriver or a screwdriver, you can take and remove this C-clip right here, and that'll just simply slide back into place. That allows us to disconnect this rod here in order to remove the rest of the pieces. Okay, so all 3 of our push rivets are removed. We removed the clip here, or back the clip up on the hinge. And now we gotta come up here with our T25 and just simply remove your 1 bolt you have in the ceiling. Obviously be careful not to lose it. And this has loosened up this entire A-pillar assembly, so we can remove this. If you watch me walk up front, I am going to take our shock off. Usually let the shock rest right down here just to support the windshield. The rest of this stuff here, coming from the back, will tip right out of place like so. Got to do it on the passenger side as well. All right, both A-pillars are removed. We've removed the shock spring here, and we have it loosened over here on the passenger side for video purposes. Now we have to go through and remove this section. These are clipped into place. You may find it easier to just support your windshield, lift it up, pull those out. The reason that we need to gain access to this is we need to take the bolts out here. You have 2 more across the front and 2 more here for a total of 6 bolts to remove this portion of the windshield or the dash panel. And again, this is probably one of the biggest teardown points of the machine, but it also is going to allow you easy access into the dash area where we're going to make our connections, route the wires, so on and so forth. Easy gunpowder. Damn it, I needed that. Your final 2 screws here. Kind of like it that R&D borrows me their tools every once in a while. They even let me borrow power tools today. Next portion here, after all this stuff here is done, everything's out of the way, we can go through and lift up the center console. The front face of them has clips that loosen. So, over here to the passenger side. Bend it a little bit in the middle. I'm going to take this out and set it off to the side to be reinstalled later. So you can see where the center dash area open up. You have your dash indicators that go here. We'll end up mounting our controller up here behind the main gauge. You have your accessory terminals. You do have your grommet here that allow you to route the wires through the machine right up front, allowing easy access.
Hey, Sean with RAVEK. Going to show you how to make your connections on your Speakeasy kit real quick here. I know we call a lot of that stuff out, but just wanted to show you firsthand. On your power connector, we're going to plug that in like that. I happen to have a ring terminal one. It might look a little bit different if you have a Polaris pulse bar connector that you need to put in there, but it connects the exact same way on the brain box. The switches or the lever are the same. So like this one says turn signal and this one says turn switch. We just plug those in together. Same with the horn hazard and the horn switch. Plug those in together. So that takes care of everything on the input. On the output side, we have your rear extension, your left turn, your right turn, and your horn. So for your rear extension, we won't be using that. For your right turn, what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy and install it for your DIs and get that inside there. And then we're going to grab the right harness as well, which would be the front right. And then we're going to connect the short side to that and then run this out to your front light. Same thing with the left. Just make that connection real quick for you there. And then run, remember that short side out. And then with the horn, that's a very simple connection as well. So it says horn here and horn on that. We're just going to plug those together. Just keep in mind that these aren't polarity sensitive. So if you do have to flip them and unhook this at some point, it doesn't matter which way they plug into those.
So what I hold in my hand is going to be your controller. This controller is going to get mounted right behind your main screen where my thumb sits. And each one of those connections we've made there, you have your pulse bar or accessory panel right here. You can run everything forward or backwards in a nice convenient mounting location. There are going to be 3 specific wires that you're going to have to run from your controller around the machine through the grommet to the front. That is going to be your left turn, your right turn, as well as your horn wires. Again, most of these connections are already being made, but I'm going to make them again for the camera. You have your left turn signal, dash indicators, which are getting plugged in now. And then you have your right hand side, which again, they are clearly labeled, so not to be confused with anything else, they are clearly labeled. Installing them here. Those will be ran to the dash indicator lights. And then from here, you have your 2 connections. Again, these will be pre-made, but these connections will go left turn, right turn. Again, clearly labeled front right and front right. Front left as well as in the front left. You will be able to route these around your pulse bar coming in from the bottom side, sliding them both through the firewall grommet, seen here. See how nice and easy those come through. They ran right alongside the other factory wire harness. We'll have our front right as well. Okay, those will be split down to where your apex lights are. And your apex lights here are going to mount in the front bumper, which you'll see in a future step. And that's where those are. And last but not least, you have your horn wire. Your horn will be mounted up here underneath the dash, but this wire here also will get routed from the controller through the firewall grommet in the front here. If you're familiar with the old HD10s and that, they made it a lot easier on this HD11 to run wires forward, which we're very thankful for, and we'll be able to connect this horn. And our selected spot here to mount the horn is going to be right here. Back the bolt out. When you're mounting your horn, it's important that nothing is touching it along the side or it will change the tone. Fun fact is our horn actually comes with a changeable tone to where you can darken or deepen the tone or lighten the tone up. Does not matter which of these spade connectors go to which side. They're non-polarity specific. Just here. Attach that back in. So fun R&D, let me play with power tools. And again, I'm just going to fold that up there a little bit just to make sure it clears, and we'll test that in our final steps. Now we're at the point of where we're going to install our dash indicators. Our dash indicators can be installed right here behind this OEM cowl housing around the dash. You can push those out by removing or pushing those clips out. We are going to center punch our dash indicators right here. When we go through to do that, we can put this back in place, drill through the secondary panel in the back, making sure there's nothing behind it when you're drilling, and then we'll oversize the hole so you can install your dash indicator with turn arrows. Nice and slow. Okay. Now we're going to snap this back into place and give us a nice OEM look when those are in there. I drill right from there, right into the back side here. The reason we want to oversize the holes is because we're going to have to get a wrench over the back side of them in order to tighten these into the dash, giving it a nice OEM look. Okay, we're going to use our step bit here, and we're now going to oversize that hole that we drilled. Allow us to get a wrench in the back side of that. There we go. Now we can actually install the plate back into place here. All of our drill nuts. And we'll be able to install our directionals. Fun fact, these directionals here have little arrows in them, so you know if you're turning left or right. Got an arrow pointing to the outside here. Pull it into place, just like so. Come to the back side. You can do this in one of two ways. Realistically, if you wanted to, you probably could take, and I'll show you that way as well. Now we're just aligning the arrows to point to the outside of the machine. We'll go through, put the lock washer on the top, put the nut on the back side of it, and then we can go through and tighten that all up. And then we're going to take and slide it through with the holes that we've already pre-drilled larger in size, so there's plenty of room for them to work through. And your dash indicators will be installed in your dash. Need to give it the old hawk to.
All right.
Nice and tight. Arrow pointed to the outside. Let's move to the right turn signal. You go ahead and reinstall these back into the holes we've drilled larger. Again, that'll make it easier to get them in. Just like so. There we go. Dash indicator left, dash indicator right. Okay, we're going to go on the dash indicator right. We're going to go to black. And we're going to do red to yellow on these. Push them until they click. And we'll do the same thing on the left-hand side. Okay, we're getting close to getting this done here. We have to run our apex lights in the front. We need to also run the turn signal toggle switches on the dash.
All right, so first we're going to start by removing our hood. You just flip it up, and then if you press forward on it, it'll just pop out of place, and just get that out of the way. After that, you're going to have 3 fender darts, one here, and then one underneath down below, and we'll get those pulled out so we can remove this quarter panel. All right, so you just want to go right above the top there, pinch, kind of wiggle it up, get it pulled out. A good trick I like is if the bottom stays, you can just grab the edge of it with their push pin pliers. And then the one underneath here is kind of hard to get to. So the other one's kind of hidden up underneath this fender here. Kind of hard to get to. There we go. Now once you get all 3 of these push darts out, all you have to do is kind of pull and slide it forward, and it'll release just like that. We can set that off to the side. And we're just going to repeat that for the driver's side. So now the next step we need to do is get this, this inner panel out. If you have an HVAC model, what you're going to want to do is remove this air filter out of here. Just push in and then pull it straight out. And then we have some T30 screws. We got 1 in this back corner. We have 4 along the front here, and then 1 in this back corner here. That's where we have the horn mounted, but we'll get these out of there. Oh, there's one more right there in the center. And one more I messed right down in there. Last screw down there in the center, right next to the intake for the HVAC system. Now that we got all the screws out of this top panel, We're gonna get the 4 screws, 2 on each side out of the corners here that were right behind the fender. Repeat that on the passenger side. Like such. All right, the next step we're gonna wanna do is down here you have the filler neck for your windshield washer fluid. Once again, if you have a windshield or an HVAC model, this is an HVAC model with a windshield, so yours might be a little different. You might not have this hose. What we wanna do is get that hose clamp off there. Take a flathead screwdriver and pry up. It's kind of an odd angle. There we go. Once we got that release, we can slip the hose off. And then from here, what you want to do is for the headlight adjuster, it's just a ball and socket. What we want to do is pry up on that and release it. This side we don't have the coolant hose, but we do have the coolant reservoir. All right, now from here, you'll have 2 screws to get this headlight out. One is going to be right down in this area here, right here, and the other one is going to be back here. They're kind of hard to see and hard to reach, but just a quarter drive ratchet and socket. Get in there. Okay, so from here, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to remove this headlight. We want to unplug the signature light here, like that. And then at this point, we can kind of just gently get this headlight down and out of the way. All right, so now on these signature lights, to get these out, you'll have 3 8mm screws. You'll have 1 in this top corner, 1 on the bottom here, and 1 on this far side. Now that's why we removed this here so we could get to this top corner. But these 2 are fairly accessible from where you're working right now. All right, now that those 3 screws are out, the signature light should just slip straight back. Might have to kind of pull it towards the driver's side a little bit. Tipped up. Just like that. Get it out like that. So to get your new signature light in, we're just going to kind of reverse that order. You notice I had to pull up on this a little bit, kind of get it in there. It's kind of got to go down and in at the same time. So this plastic panel is kind of in the way. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of peel it up and out. Now you do have a lot of wires here that are coming through. So what you can do is kind of peel this boot back, just kind of pull that up and get it kind of up and out of the way. That'll give you a little bit more room to get the signature light in. It's still going to be kind of tight. Like that. Okay, I got to slide it past that little foam piece there. Once you get these 2 screws out, what you want to do is just pull out on it and push in. And those screw bosses will release a little bit. It'll give you just enough play that you can get in there. And then on this one here, what we're going to do is kind of bend that boot up, pull this up and back out of the way, and that'll give us plenty of room to get our signature light in. That. You gotta make sure that that boss there for the headlight actually goes through there. And then we can get our screws back in. Now that we got our new signature light installed, we can just kind of reverse everything we did. Bring our headlight back up. Plug in. Now before you plug in the light, there's a harness that you're going to have to add, and this is what actually indicates for the turn. So we'll just plug that in line with the existing cable. And then this is what you're going to hook to your front left and front right. So once we get that in, we can kind of get this line back up on these bosses. Get this snapped back in there. Like that. Actually, just kidding, before you snap that in, don't forget to put your bushings in the light there, there. Now we can snap this guy back in, put our screws back in, get them started here. So now that we got the headlight reinstalled, plugged in, the screws in, we're just going to slip this guy back. Slip that back. Like that. I'm going to reach over and pull this rubber boot up to clearance on this plastic plate, like that. And then essentially just do the same thing on this side and pop this guy out. Now this side you can't really, because your wires are in the way, so you don't have as much room, but it'll give you a little bit. Same thing here, so you can see that screw a little bit easier on this side there, and then the one down there. Once again, these are 7 millimeters. So once again, we're going to unplug the factory signature light, get that out of the way, and then let that headlight drop down. I'll switch back over to our 8 millimeter, and we'll get the 3 signature light screws out. All right, so now to get this out, kind of the same as the last, open this up a little bit, pull that, and then because this reservoir is in the way, kind of got to be a little bit more crafty on getting that out of there, like that. Put this guy back in. Remember, we got to get that big hole on the signature light on that boss for the headlight. That slide in like that. Replace our screws. The same 3 we just took out. Switch back to our 7mm. And get this headlight back up here. Get these screws started. Just remember to be very, very careful on these, not to lose that inner bushing for the headlight. It's very important when you're putting this tray back in to do that before you put this corner back in to get that slipped into where you need it to go. And then you can just get that snap back in like that. Get everything lined back up. And we can start reassembling our screws under this hood. All right, so now we can reinstall our windshield washer fluid tube here. We'll just slip that down in. Get that on the tank. Down here. Push down there real good, and then this clamp, all you have to do, just give it a squeeze until it ratchets. There we go. And then that just pushes down in. Now, when we took this apart, we had two different screws. We had the ones that are up here, and then we had the ones on the side. They are quite a bit different. So the ones that go on the side here have the coarse threads, and they have kind of this trapezoidal top, where the ones for the top panel have more of a dome, and they're shorter and finer threads. So we're gonna replace these, and then we're gonna put the screws back in here, and then I'll show you how to hook up the lights. All right, so now we need to add in our 214Xs, or if your harness from the controller has the split on it already, these just plug in line. If your harness has the split already, all you have to do is plug it in your signature light. So all I did was just plug in this 214X, and then plug in my Apex light that I have installed on this already. And then all we have to do is run this kind of out this corner here and plug it into the JST on the signature light like that. And we'll come back in a minute and bundle this up. And then the same thing on this side here. Pop that JST apart. Plug this in. Plug our Apex light in. Run this out this corner right next to this coolant tank. And plug that in just like that until you hear click. All right, now all we have to do is kind of pretty these up, zip tie them up real nice, and we can reassemble the top of the machine. So now that we got all those connections made, we can bundle these up with some zip ties. Before we do that, let's test this. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna hit the start button, make sure our Apex light up, which they do, and then we're gonna hit our left turn, make sure that they signal appropriately. Looks like the sequential is working nice. We're gonna do the right side, like that. Yep, looks good. We're gonna do hazards, make sure that all four corners are going. It looks good. And if you want to scare the camera guy, horn.
Dick.
We verified that everything's working. We can go ahead and start buttoning this up. Like I said, we can just zip tie these up. Don't forget to put, if your model's got HVAC, to slip this back on. It's really simple. Just kind of slips inside that filter. Like that. And then you just got to push it in a little bit and get it slipped down into this cavity where it belongs. Like that. And then we can start reassembling the top of this. All right, so to put these panels on, it's just kind of the opposite. Kind of get it slipped in there like that, get everything lined up, push it back, and then these are just the 3 push pins here. The holes lined up. Push pin in. Holes lined up. Push pin in. And then this third one down here, don't forget. This is the one that's fun because you can't see it. Put that in. Do the other side. that. And then we just pop this hood back in, kind of do the opposite of what we did to take it off. We get it slipped in there, and we pull it towards us, get that locked in there. We're good to go.
Our final steps we're going to have to do is come down here and take the passenger side box off, or the box side off. There's 5 bolts on the inside and some on the inside. We'll get to those now. Come to the back side. You have 1 bolt right here by my finger, which is tough to see with the camera. That one. 2 here. And there are 2 at the bottom. Take the box side down. Oh, there's a 6th screw. So we have our 6th screw on the outside. There was 5 visible, easily visible. You got 1 more that's kind of tucked in back here. I am utilizing a ratchet wrench with a Torx bit on it. Just get into it. Okay, now we'll get the ones in the inside. We got our final bolt. Now that we got the 5 on the outside of the box, we got our final bolt here. You're gonna want to unscrew this and kind of hold the side so it does not have the ability to fall. Okay. Set the bolt off to the side. So again, with your 6 screws, you got 1 here, 1 here. You got the 1 in the back, you get the 3 on the bottom side there. You'll be able to take and remove this box side, like so. Get its way out. You will notice that your light is also attached on the other end of it. We can disconnect that light and slide your box side up, set it out the side.
Hey, Sean again. So I was going to show you real quick on how to actually hook up the Speakeasy kit onto your machine. So this is the rear harness for an HD11. So we're going to install this like normal, unplug the factory connectors, plug these into the factory connectors, and then run this guy up to the tail light like we normally do. But instead of that rear main extension coming and plugging into this 4-pin, we're going to take this wireless module and we're actually going to plug it into the 4-pin here, and then we're going to get power from the license plate, which is here. Now, if you plan to run a license plate light, or if you purchased one, there will be a separate harness here that'll run power out to your license plate for you.
In the back, we need to make the connection for our wireless receiver, which is right there. There is a 4-pin plug and a 2-pin plug that need to be plugged into the multi-pin. Multi-pin connection is made right there. Follow it alongside your frame rail up into the right-hand taillight. Final step here, before testing, we are going to install our toggle switches. I'm going to put our turn signal here and our horn hazard here just because it's a natural. You don't have to look for it in the dark or in a needed situation. Go ahead and reach in here. You can do these 1 of 2 ways. There's a clip on the back side. You can reach in and pick them out that way. If you chose to do a turn signal stock, which many do, the turn signal switches are not needed in this scenario. To start, make sure you can read the RAVEK on the turn signal switch itself, and we're going to feed these in here, grabbing them from the back side to pull the wire in. Again, there is that, and we'll just simply push these into place. Same thing for the horn hazard, making sure you can read the RAVEK sign, because who wouldn't want to read the RAVEK sign? Do that. And we just need to run these over and connect them into our controller in the center of the dash. Let's get to it. So we're at the point now we're going to go through and install the turn lever here. You can see we've already installed our 2 bolts that hold it onto the lever. Our orientation is like this. This little gray lever actually allows you to detach the steering column from the bottom. And we're going to use the top right, the top left, and the bottom left bolts with the screws that we provide. They're just a Phillips head screw. In there, get it aligned, just like so. Do that to the other 3 holes here as well. Screwdriver ain't liking it, come on. Okay. So the steering lever is mounted here, you can see right here. We're going to take and route the wires on top of the column over to where our controller is in the center of the dash. All right, guys, real tough part of the install here, license plate frame. This is a multi-state license plate frame that is lighted. It allows you to mount your license plate frame right back here to where Can-Am has the slots. Obviously, you would generally install your license plate in front of this, utilizing the bolts we supply. Don't drop them. Bolt them into place, and you're going to want to route your wire back to the frame and zip tie it underneath the muffler. And then what you're going to do is route it to the right hand side of the muffler up here along this frame rail into your right hand side multi-pin where you'll make this connection.